Hey, it's Felice, totally awake, and I'm back with another video. If you're new, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. Had to come just get on camera, say hey to y'all. I just actually woke up from a nap. Yesterday I went to a pool party and I got stung by a bee for the first time. So if you see my neck looking swollen up under there, that's why. It also stung me on my stomach. I didn't know what had happened to me. That thing was burning so bad. It was on fire. I never had that happen. But anyway, y'all, I went to talk to y'all today. Just a little rant, and I wanted to talk about the abuse within Jehovah's Witnesses from, Jehovah's Witness parents. And there's plenty of abuse that goes on, all types of abuse, including SA and CSA, unfortunately, by different members in the congregation that get swept up under the rug because of their two-witness rule. So we know about that, but then there's a lot of just physical, emotional, mental abuse as well. And what got me to really thinking about it, I do spend a lot of time in places like TikTok and Instagram. And trust me, I see a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses and the things that they post. Sometimes my algorithm was just stuck on what Jehovah's Witnesses were posting and had to say. And so, I was getting a lot of insight on what was going on in ExJW brains. But check these clips out, and then I'm going to come back with more of my commentary so we can talk more about it.
I done told you. Next time I tell you, I done told you. Next time I tell you,
Okay, so first, why do I gotta get, whipped on and stuff like that because I didn't underline some sentences in the Watchtower magazine? Something that's man-made. Yes, our parents wanted us to underline some sentences in a man-made Watchtower, and it was really a serious problem if we did not. Like, we was in trouble for that. That was a part of a weekly routine. And, I think that's probably why I have trouble with organization now with my family. I blame it on Watchtower. I have 3 kids, and I'm not the best with organization, and I think it's because we were a little bit too organized. And I think I just kind of wanted to get away from all of that structure. But now I wish they did have some structure because my kids be off the chain. But they all right. They good kids, but they is off the chain. But it was just too much structure though growing up, and all of that wasn't even necessary. Like, you don't got to put your hands on nobody. Like, I remember my mama used to literally take me home when I was a little girl. We didn't live that far from the Kingdom Hall, and before the meeting I would be playing with, talking to the little girls, walking around the hall. But then as soon as they said, after that song started and they said amen, baby, I turned up. I started making noise and whining and crying. And I was nothing but a little girl. I couldn't have been no more than 4 or 5 years old, maybe even as young as 3. But I remember that my mama used to take me home and whip my tail. She used to take me home and whip my tail. Now, I didn't look at it as abuse. I thought my mom loved me, and I just wasn't doing what she said. So she had to take me home and whip my tail so I could sit down and listen to what Jehovah message is for today for us. And I did used to come back and I guess behave because, if you're going to whip my ass, I'll be quiet. If you're going to whip my ass about it. But why was it okay to do that? To go to those type of lengths just to get a child to sit down and behave? You know what I'm saying? And then as you got older, if you didn't study a Watchtower, marking up the Watchtower. If you didn't, and then, we would be cheating, right? You know what I'm saying? All as long as we got some lines marked up, we can pretend that we didn't read the mugs, and you know what I'm saying, we know what to say, and we won't be knowing what that watchtower was talking about. Now, I did used to be trying to read mine, at least skim through it, and try to make sure that I didn't underline the right answers that they want you to underline. It's so, like, stupid. Like, they making this little magazine, and they got the questions, but they want you to answer it a certain way. Nah, that ain't what I got from that paragraph, actually. But they ain't taking that for answers, you know? And then, you know, the chaos before the watchtower, or I mean, before the convention, and I know a lot of them can relate to that, and that's why it's going around in social media. And they talking about getting their behind whips and stuff. What about the fact that you own social media? Because that was a complete no-no. But that's a whole nother story, ain't it? But the chaos before the convention. First of all, you got to wake up all early. You know what I'm saying? Like, who wants to do these things? Who wants to do these things? Because I know I don't. I know I don't. I don't want to do it. Please, no. Please, help me, Lord. No, help me. You know? But then you did want to kind of get there because it was exciting. It was an exciting part of our life, really. It was the only exciting, really, part, you know. When you take out holidays that you could have been celebrating, that was the thing that we looked forward to most, the convention. And and it was because we got to see so many people that we loved, right, and knew. And it's crazy because I asked my 97-year-old grandma, after just visiting them, which is very, very rarely, my Jehovah's Witness family, but I did visit them over the weekend. It was a very quick and short visit. I was close by, and I mainly stayed in the room with my grandmother. That's 97, talking to her, and she was telling me, yeah, I got to make 2 days at the convention, and you know, she was just so excited, you know, because she's older and it's hard for her to be getting out, and you know, but when she does, she's making sure that she is dressed up and looking fly, baby. And my mama tell me it's like Elvis. I say like Beyonce because I love Beyonce. My mama say she's like Elvis when she goes up in there, and there's a line forming, and I guess so, because I literally seen a picture where it was all blacks in her congregation when she first started, before she had kids, before she met my granddad. She was like 17 years old. So we're talking about 80 years ago. And there was a picture, and I'm not going to share it right now, but there was a picture of her with her congregation, and they were all black. It was before integration. And so people are lined up to speak to her, and I asked her, you know, because she was so excited that she got to go. I said, what was your favorite part? And she said, because everybody was so glad to see her. So, and I believe that, and I'm so happy for my grandma. But people forget about what they're teaching. They don't even care what they're teaching no more. They just love that association and the family that they have grown to know and become. and showing their real family for. Like, you got people and pictures my grandma got with different ladies that's probably about my age and stuff like that, all pictured up with them like that's her granddaughter or something, and they probably feel that close to her. But I'm her granddaughter, though. I am her granddaughter. Y'all pretending up in there. I'm just playing. I want them to love on my grandma. I want that for her because that's what she lives for. That's what she has literally lived for. And I was just glad that I got to, you know, spend a little moment with her. But yeah, Jehovah's Witnesses, y'all stop whipping y'all kids for not marking up their watchtower, and just calm down in the morning when it's time to get ready for the convention, because y'all ain't finna do nothing but go in there and socialize and mingle with people, and that's all y'all rushing to get ready to be happy for to do, because that's the best part. That's the best part. It's the people that you come to love and be family with. Show better enjoy, because you have to be shunning your real families and all carrying on like that. So, but y'all, I gotta go ahead and get me some food. I just wanted to get on this camera and say something to y'all, and I'm gonna talk to y'all later. All right, make sure to like this video, leave me a comment, all right, and let me know what you think, and I'll be back with another one. Bye.